The Bostonian is Matt Perrault.
This is our city.
The Book is Dave Sherapan.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
Together, they are the Bostonian versus the Book.
You covered! You covered 12! Covered!
Follow the show on Twitter at Boston versus the Book.
How do you like them apples?
Bringing you the best insight on sports betting news, Matt and Dave's daily picks, and an entertaining and unfiltered dive into the sports betting industry. Here's Dave Sherapan and Matt Perrault.
And here we go.
On a well-watched Wednesday, everybody, how are you? Welcome into another episode of the Bostonian versus the Book. He is Dave Sherapan. I'm Matt Perrault. We are live on our YouTube channel at Boston versus the Book. Same on Twitter X. Replayed on Sports Grid Television and on Sirius XM, channel 159 each and every night. We will watch today with Alex Kane. He'll come on and we'll talk a lot about the industry and things going on. Virginia, Arizona, all the good things that they got going on here at Sport Trade. We got football at the top to get into. Dave, how are you today on this Wednesday? A lot of things to get into today.
A lot of things to get into. I feel like I just need to get it up at the top. I did go to Penn State. Yes, I fully support the Big Ten and everything they're trying to do. And yes, I am aware that Penn State is probably ranked too high in these rankings and all this other stuff. Those of you that have reached out, I appreciate it. Thank you for letting me know. It'll all settle itself out. Everybody relax. This is college football at its finest. Talking about it. We'll settle it on the field in the next couple weeks. The picture will be clearer by the time.
So are they calling you a homer? Like what's the angle?
No. I'm getting texts and DMs from people, and even I have an email at sportsbkkonsig@gmail.com that I'm getting emails from people that I haven't heard from in a long time going, you even know that Penn State shouldn't be where they're at. And, they didn't play anybody. Bro, calm down. Like, okay, it's fine. I would love nothing more than a home playoff game. The playoff committee has 110,000 reasons why they should be in the playoff. It's a guaranteed sellout in December, freezing cold. It's awesome. Okay, they just got to win out. I mean, if they're 11-1, they're 11-1. Tell them they can't go. I'm not going to the bowl game, I'll tell you that. If they play a bowl game somewhere, I'm not going. A meaningless bowl game?
Well, let's get into it because Alex will be here in a second, so let's talk about it here. Man. All right? The college football rankings, the playoff bracket was released last night.
Holy crap.
So the stunning, most eye-opening is that Georgia is out. They are not part of the college football playoff, which is somewhat shocking. Your guaranteed seeds coming in with Texas, BYU, Oregon, and Miami. Those are your conference champions. BYU is the group of 5 team. Those are your 5 automatic bids to come in here for the national championship. Everyone else is an at-large bid. Georgia's the first team out. SMU is the first team out, or second team out. Before we get to the teams that are not part of the bracket, let's talk about the teams that are part of the bracket and how juicy this could actually be. Because like you mentioned, how do you feel about Ole Miss in Happy Valley in December?
I might go. That's how I feel. I might go. That would be so much fun. Like, who doesn't want to see that? Lane Kiffin all bundled up, freezing.
It's
awesome.
Such a clash of styles.
Oh.
It would be such an interesting chess match to watch if this ends up happening with Ole Miss at Penn State.
Great.
Would they do the whiteout?
I mean, I don't know what time they would start the game, but I don't know. The whiteout, I mean, it might be snow all over. You won't have to do the whiteout. It might be
True.
crazy, like cold. December at Penn State it's really can be nasty. So weather will be a factor. I mean, what do they have? 2 weeks off or 3 weeks off?
In between?
Yeah.
Well, it depends if you play in the conference championship game or not. I think if you don't,
one of those teams would play in a conference.
So you'd have 3 weeks off.
Yeah. So
between that game and the semi.
It might be ugly at least to start. Be fun to make the total, the side. I don't know. Are they going to make Ole Miss favorite at Penn State?
No way. That's impossible.
Well, the
Like,
SEC people will tell you they are.
This is like the
They're
Miami
better. They
Dolphins.
played all better teams.
This is like the Miami Dolphins playing against the Buffalo Bills in December in Buffalo. Like, this is not.
Oh.
I mean, Ole Miss is not ready for that. I mean, that's of all the things you will hear from the SEC, you will hear them complain about the weather because it is a massive disadvantage for Ole Miss to go north to play Penn State.
Man, if you're good, you're good. That's you just.
I know, but it's a pass.
Road,
I mean, Jackson Dart is a pass-happy offense.
Oh,
it is a defensive line that can stop your running game. It's a dead under. I mean, Penn State Ole Miss is a dead under, and I'll be so curious to watch whether or not Drew Aller can beat Ole Miss's secondary because I'm not sure he can.
I don't even want to speculate on it because it's probably not going to happen.
Well, you don't.
That's not going to be the matchup.
But your receivers are one guy. You have a tight end. You have no wideouts to talk about. Penn State's passing game is pretty much one dude. So Ole Miss takes that away. And if you can't run the football on that defensive line, because Georgia sure as hell couldn't, you guys got problems moving the football. Now, defensively, you guys are one of the best defensive teams in the country. So you're going to be all over them.
We haven't played anybody. So
that's
those
true.
Numbers are
fake. It is true. But I mean, just historically speaking, if you look at the player, the level, the caliber of defensive player that goes to Penn State, it's one of the best defensive football schools in the country. I mean, Chop Robinson's doing incredible things, leaving Penn State last year into the NFL this year. Like, there's just historically speaking, you're talking about a defensive-minded football team that's going to play smash mouth football in the cold, which is not what Ole Miss does. So that game
you're not in the Grove anymore. When you
no. You're in the cold. So that's a big disadvantage. What do you make of Alabama on the road at Indiana?
Oh,
what
a fun story.
What's the number? Bama at Indiana.
I mean, I might go there. How much fun would that be? Like, that day is going to be, whatever it ends up being, is going to be so good. I mean, and again, there's people talking about the NFL and the product and the this, and it's not as good and all this other stuff. Social media is amazing. It's so much fun because, we got friends that are putting stuff out there and people are coming at them. And then you got other friends that are saying it's nothing wrong with the product. And it's because of the gambling. I mean, there's already blaming the gambling for people's inability to just accept the fact that there's a lot of bad football games being played on Sundays. Now there's a lot being played on Saturdays too, but the high side of Saturdays are just amazing. This Bama on the road at Indiana? How much fun would this be? But this isn't going to happen, is it?
Well, I mean, it could happen. Why couldn't it happen?
Indiana has to win against Ohio State. They have to win.
They have to win the Big Ten?
They have to win the game against Ohio State. They have to win that game.
I don't know if they have to.
They have to win that game. I don't know. I mean, I heard so much stuff last night.
To win.
How bad the schedule is for
Penn
State. Indiana's is worse.
It is. I agree. That is true. If they beat Ohio State, they're in.
If they beat Ohio State,
how about this?
It's full bore. Like, forget about it. Dave's Daily Picks is in here. Roger Long. I mean, these people.
Can they beat Ohio State and lose to Oregon?
If they beat Ohio State,
but lose to Oregon in the Big Ten title game,
get blown out.
Yeah, killed. They lose by 25.
You can find a way to keep them out. A one-loss Indiana team's worse than a two-loss Ole Miss team. A two-loss Tennessee team. That's what they're going to tell you.
Well,
they're going to keep them out.
Let's do resumes.
The entire state of Indiana will close, just like the movie Hoosiers.
Oh yeah.
When the when Hickory High played, everybody closed to go to the game. The entire state, wherever they play. God forbid they get a home game. That would be amazing.
I mean, so let's do resumes of a couple teams here because I was looking at this morning. I thought it was pretty interesting.
You had a little bit of time on your hands. I saw this on the rundown and I went, "Oh, all
right." So Miami is 9-1 on the season.
Yes,
they have no good wins on their resume.
Miami,
none. There's no one on that. There is nobody on the Miami resume ledger where you say they won the game and you're like, that was an impressive win. You can maybe make a case for Louisville, but they have had so many come from behind victories.
Yeah.
Where they were trailing by 25 points against Cal and they rallied and found a way to win. They had the controversial jump ball in the end zone against Virginia Tech. Like, look, I bet Miami to make the playoffs. I took the plus 225 and I have a ticket on it. And I took Miami to win over 9.5 games. Now I'm assuming they're going to get to 10 wins this weekend, but in terms of their resume, this is a weak resume.
Yeah, if they were in the Big Ten, they'd be besmirching them all over the place.
This is a really weak resume. I think the only reason why they're not, though, Dave, is because I think people are assuming the ACC will only have one team in. So I think that's why you're not hearing.
Be SMU.
I mean, it could be SMU, it could be Clemson, it could be Miami. I mean, there's a bunch of different teams that are on there, so that have the conversation as to who makes the playoff from the ACC. But I think the reason why you're not hearing the people clamoring for Miami is that Miami, remember, go back to the bracket, and Miami is an auto bid. Okay. They're playing the winner of Ohio State, Boise. They're a guaranteed quarterfinal team.
And a big dog. If that bracket would go, Ohio State would beat Boise. Ohio State would be a big favorite over Miami.
Huge favorite over Miami. Oh, yeah. Big favorite over Miami. 100%. So Miami's resume, I think, is somewhat lacking. Notre Dame is not being talked about. And I'm really surprised at how quickly people are just ushering in the Irish and saying that they're in. They are 8-1. They did beat then 15th ranked Louisville and then ranked 24th Navy, but both those teams aren't really all that great to jump up and down and call them, key wins. And they have the worst loss of anybody going into an at-large bid situation, losing to Northern Illinois. They've got 2 games left of note. Army is undefeated and ranked. They'll take on them. And then they'll at USC. All of our hopes here will ride on Lincoln Riley to beat Notre Dame and to keep them out on the last game of the year.
I don't know. Isn't it better if the Irish are involved?
No. Why is it better if the Irish are involved?
Why not?
Why not?
Historic school.
Who cares? They're not any good. Notre Dame's not any good.
How do we know?
They're not good. I've watched a bunch of games with the Irish. They're not good.
I don't know if we know that.
They're not good. The Irish are not good. Their resume is weak. Haven't beaten anybody. Haven't played anybody. We need Lincoln Riley to do some work here. Save your job, Lincoln Riley, and keep out the Irish.
Give the boys and girls who are here, if you're here, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Tell somebody about the show. Vote in this poll.
What?
Do you want to see Notre Dame in or out? Do you want to, yes or no? Do you want to see, if you're watching this show, we're talking about college football. You're a college football fan.
I don't.
I think you'll be surprised. I think this will be closer to 50-50. I want to see Notre Dame in.
I don't. They're not any good. Ole Miss's resume is interesting. They're 8-2. They have a win, arguably the best win of all the bubble teams. Their win over Georgia is a huge one. But they lost to then ranked 13th LSU, and that Kentucky loss might keep them out of the playoffs. They got a game left against Florida on the road. That's it.
Lose to Kentucky?
Brutal loss. Brutal loss that could wind up keeping them out. See?
Notre Dame is irrelevant, JC from KC? I don't think so. Notre Dame can eat a cow patty. Thank you, Ross Randall.
So,
wow, I love the comments. Ron Sean even put a clover and a big X in there. Wow. No one likes the Irish. Listen, I used to be, and if push comes to shove, if Penn State plays Notre Dame, I will be passionately rooting for Penn State to destroy Notre Dame.
Right.
Used to be a big Notre Dame hater.
Okay.
But I like the coach, the green unis, they break them out for the game, the gold helmets, playing in a playoff game.
Okay, Rudy.
There'll be a bet against. It'll be perfect.
Well, that's fine. Bet against them. That's fine.
Yeah.
So that's Ole Miss's resume at 8-2. SMU fans are ferociously mad this morning getting up and seeing their team not just out of the playoff. They're behind Georgia to make the playoffs.
Tough.
Their best win was against Pitt last weekend. Their key loss against number 3 BYU. They got the ACC title game left.
The game against BC this week.
BC's changing quarterbacks. They got to win the game to become bowl eligible. They're going to kill them. Yeah, no, that's SMU will win that game.
I mean, there's a swath of college football fans rooting for SMU to get in there. I think it's a great.
Most of them are in Dallas.
A little more than that, maybe, or no?
No one else gives a crap about SMU. No. SMU's resume is better than Texas's, maybe AOWN, but it doesn't matter because if Texas wins the Big 12, the SEC, it doesn't matter. They're automatically in. So, remember, the bracket is right now. You have Texas, who's in. Number 2, Texas. SEC champion, Texas. So it doesn't really matter. Texas's resume, Oregon's resume, BYU's resume, Miami's resume, Texas, and Boise, those resumes don't matter. They are automatic qualifiers to the tournament. So I get what I finally want with auto qualifiers. No more of this. I wonder if maybe could. They're in. So it doesn't matter if Texas is there.
These college football make playoff percentage predictor things are less relevant, if it's even possible, than the bet percentage percentages that you see on some websites and stuff.
Yeah.
Just literally, what is it? 76. Oh, okay, cool. 84. Awesome.
Right. Pull out
96.
Right.
Perfect.
So there's SMU at 8-1. Texas A&M is 7-2. Their resume is fascinating.
Can they get in?
Yes, they can. So they beat a top 10 team in LSU.
They lost a top 10 team now and not even close.
But they were at the time.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, they lost to the Irish in week 1. But then last week, South Carolina killed them. But if they turn around and beat Texas, they've got the best game left. Of all the at-large bids, they've got the best game left, which is Texas.
Oh, it'd be fun if they could get in. I am saying right now, I don't think they're getting in.
Can't let the cult school in.
JC from Casey's on fire today. He's on fire. Nice work, JC from Casey. Texas A&M gets in.
No, I disagree, David. I disagree. Indiana against Ohio State's not better than Texas A&M against Texas.
Well, it is for them because
but A&M, but Texas is leading the SEC. Ohio State's not going to win the Big Ten regular season wise. Oregon's going to win that. If Indiana was playing Oregon, I would say you're right, but Texas is leading the SEC.
Only by default. I mean, who have they played?
They're leading the SEC. They beat Alabama. They beat Georgia, rather. Did they beat Georgia? I mean,
That's it.
Okay.
I mean,
beat Georgia. It's pretty good.
Crap.
Georgia's crap?
No, their schedule overall, Texas is garbage. Yeah. One big win.
It's a big win. It's a better win than Indiana has.
Oh, man.
I mean, who was Oregon beaten besides Ohio State?
Who was Oregon beaten besides Ohio State? They beat Boise.
Okay, they beat Boise.
Boise's a playoff team.
Okay, they beat Boise, sure. Okay. I think we're hanging a bit too much on that game, in my opinion, as to Boise going there.
It was a close game, too, by the way.
It was a 3-point win. And they're
Oregon.
They're putting a lot of stock on that, by the way. The committee really likes that a lot. So Alex said he's having some issues joining, so hopefully he may have some connection issues. So hopefully we'll get him on here in just 1 second. He normally hasn't had any problems connecting, so maybe just where he is.
Depending on where he's at. Yeah.
Right, which state Alex is in. So hopefully he'll come in. The group of 5 entry is really interesting. So Boise is number 1.
Right.
They're in as of right now as the 12 seed. Army is playing the Irish this coming weekend. They got a chance. Tulane and then UNLV could face off against
Virginia's
Boise.
Playing Notre Dame this weekend.
Oh, so when the Army plays Notre Dame in 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's not this week.
Must be 2 weeks then. Okay. So then we have UNLV in Boise rematch in the Mountain West Conference Championship game. If UNLV wins that game, what happens? Because Army loses to the Irish, so they're out. Oh, wow. Look at that. Castellanos is leaving Boston College. Thank you, CBW. He got benched publicly and then took his ball and went home. How about that? He's made, I think, 20 consecutive starts for Boston College.
Wow.
And they're benching him this weekend. He must have gotten into it with Bill O'Brien.
What the hell just happened there?
Yeah,
I wonder what that line just did. Let me see.
Well, no, it would have been baked in because BC made the announcement that, but now they lost their backup quarterback, though.
Oh, he's the backup?
He got benched this week. Yeah. Rather publicly got benched.
Pardon me for not having a clue what the hell's going on with the Boston College. There's so many other things to worry about.
Yes, going on. Just saying.
Oh, it's 18.5 now, 19.5 in places. Bye-bye.
Yeah, that's it.
Bye-bye, BC, SMU.
But UNLV, even though I got to say, look, but UNLV being on this list is somewhat stunning. Like they have 2 losses. Lost to Syracuse and lost to Boise, both at home, and they're still on the list. They're 4th.
There is no chance they're letting them in.
I don't know. Everything falls right. It could happen.
So Army loses
to
Notre Dame.
Yep.
Boise loses to UNLV.
Yep.
Tulane, what?
Yeah, they got to lose another game. They've 1 loss. Got to have them lose another game. So if they lose,
this place will go wild if UNLV. It's like the school. Like what?
What's the number if UNLV plays Ohio State?
Oh, come on. I don't know if anybody really wants to see that.
100? Like, what's the number? Like
31.
Like, how many points do I have? How many points?
At the you got to go on. Like, you got to go play them at the Horseshoe.
Yes, you're in Columbus.
That's not.
Alex, what's the number? What's the number for you?
I love seeing Dave crunch the numbers. You can see he's like getting quiet. He's sort of getting into work mode. I think he had a pencil in his hand there.
It's right here. The pen is down. I'm like thinking, oh man, 31. We might open that thing and see if the assassins want to come in and take it. Like
playoff game.
That'd be
My
crazy.
Gosh. He is Alex Kane, the CEO of Sport Trade, joining us here on a Whale Watch Wednesday. Alex, good to see you. I appreciate you coming in. Thank you for the text message. I'll say it publicly to you. It meant a lot to me. With everything that was going on health-wise. Thank you for reaching out. It was really nice of you to do that.
Well, man, I'm thinking of you. And, I told Dave we were doing a little bit of strategizing. We're like, we just got to get him to sort of take one play at a time here. And we sort of, we're coming up with like 9 sports metaphors and we're all saying the same thing.
Yeah.
I think there's a NASCAR metaphor in there. There's a football metaphor. I'm kind of so shocked you're stressing yourself out thinking about what's going to happen. Like the college football playoff that you think is going to happen is going to be all screwed up in 2 weeks because look,
thank you.
Like Miami loses to Georgia Tech, right? Like, come on, who expected that? So I think like you're it's a little bit of counting chickens. Maybe you're like, are you trying to determine who's the last team in that's going to play like Ohio State in round 1? Or
yeah, I think from a betting standpoint, the reason why I'm so happy about it, Alex, is because we haven't seen this in the month of January where it's a college football playoff. It's not the bowl season. Everyone loves betting bowl games, but it's not bowl games. This is no opt-out time. People aren't going to sit there and say, I'm holding myself away from the draft. Like, this is playing for a national championship where we get 4, 4, 2, and 1 up against the NFL in their playoffs at the end of the regular season and then into the playoffs for the NFL. Like, the handle is going to be outrageous, is it not?
It's going to be absolutely outrageous. We have seen real growth in our college football here in the last week as we've scaled up size significantly. And I think that it's going to be bonkers. Like you can make a case. Like what's interesting to me is less about who's at the top. I sort of know the best 2 or 3 teams in college football right now. It's the discussion of like, honestly, who's going to make the bottom 3. Because you could make an argument for like 10 or 12 different teams right now. I saw somebody making an argument for Colorado.
Yep.
I went out and watched that game at home. They played versus Baylor with the Hail Mary and the pouring rain and the Travis Hunter, playing both sides of the ball. It's great. He forces a stop on like 4th down, and then he just stays on the field. And the other like 10 guys like run off the field, and he just sort of stands there. It's pretty awesome. So yeah, I think you can make a case for so many teams, but like. College football and pro football, like starting at like Thanksgiving, just gets insane, and it's going to be even more insane this year.
Do you see it where, I mean, there's a lot of talk, and we've done it here. Saturdays just seem more interesting than Sundays. You're talking about the handle going up. Does that translate into like just more quantity of bets, more sharp action, more? I mean, because I saw a tweet with the with the tape the other day, it just was flowing.
Oh, miss money
stuff like
miss
that was
money came
awesome.
forward.
Yeah. So is Saturday, is the tape flowing more Saturday than Sunday?
So Sunday still is the king right now. So we set a record last week. We had 3,600 trades on Sunday. I think we probably had 2,400 on Saturday.
Okay.
So we still see a lot more. I think it's because there tends to be more NBA as well, or more primetime NBA. And we have some players that, as you saw yesterday, really, you can post on Sports Trade, which is we talked about a couple weeks ago, but like we have some customers that are finding some market inefficiencies and they're posting prices on player props, which create arbitrage for some of our players, and then they eat it up very, very quickly and you get a ton of trades. So, but I've been really happy with the last 2 to 3 weeks for college football, where we're starting to see more liquidity available, where you can bet $5,000. I think there's like some $10,000 bets, $15,000 bets on Ole Miss. That was a game that had like two-way action, which is like the dream. You're sort of sitting there like, wait, someone took one side, someone took the other side, and like
best.
It's yeah, that is the best.
Let's talk about your Sixers for a second here, because last night
we weren't going to mention this.
You're getting Embiid back. Dave's like, they're winning tonight. They have the Cavaliers tonight. They're going to snap this 12-game win streak for the Cavaliers. Everything's right. And then Embiid looks like he wanted to play in a Y League somewhere last night and had no interest playing basketball. What's the feeling in Philadelphia right now around the Sixers, and just how down our Sixers fans are on their team?
So me, it's like Phillies is here, and then Eagles, and then so far down as Sixers. My brother's birthday tonight, so I'm going to take him he turns 28, so I'm going to take him to the Sixers game. The ticket prices are like insanely cheap, given the fact that they're playing the best team in the league. They're playing the most exciting team in the league. I think everyone in Philadelphia, like no one got excited about Paul George. Like nothing against Paul George, right? Insane athlete, incredible, but like we all know it's all about, can you construct a team, including the coaching staff, which was the problem 4 or 5 years ago. It wasn't the players, in my opinion, that can beat the Boston Celtics. Yeah. Well, 4 out of 7 games. If you can't, just don't even show up. Yeah. And the current team, while there has been some bright spots, I think McCain has been a bright spot for us. He's overperformed, I think, what other Philadelphians thought he could do. Between Paul George and Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, it's the metaphor would be like you have to align the moon, the sun, and the stars to get those 3 players on the court running in the same direction at the same time. Damn it. And so I think Philadelphians, like we have the Eagles, and that's overperforming, I think, where we were mentally 4 or 5 weeks ago. The Sixers is just like, if they can win a couple games, great. I just don't think the same amount of pressure and disappointment is being sort of deflected towards the Sixers right now. Now, if the Eagles start losing and come back to reality, then we're going to have a problem with the Sixers. But for me, I think I embody a lot of the ways Philadelphians think about it, which is like, look, they can't beat the Celtics, so what's the point? Really, what's the point? You play all this basketball to get to May, and then like we lost to the Knicks last year, and I believe it was 4. Was it?
Yeah,
4?
it was 5 games. They won 1. It was 5 games. It was quick. It was over. It was terrible. Yeah. All right. Better times. Better subjects. I wasn't even going to mention the Sixers. The Eagles are playing at home tomorrow. Yep. I mean, if you were a real brother, you would take him to the Eagles game and see the Eagles. The people in the chat are worried about what your brother did to you, and like they're like questioning your intentions, taking your brother to see the Sixers get waxed tonight by the Cavs. And we're gonna get smoked.
Okay, I will say this. I actually think the Sixers are going to beat the Cavs tonight. Sorry. So I'll just
what?
By the way, Matt.
Outright?
Matt, I hope you're not been betting, Matt. Like, please please tell me you've not been betting. But when you get back to betting, when everything's great with you, because it's going to happen soon, I want to hear how it's going betting money lines only. Because every time I do it now, I think of you and I'm like, man, if he's betting the same things I'm betting, my insane lucky streak is continuing to happen. I expect to be a losing bettor. I won in August. I won in September. I won in October. I'm winning in November. And I'm literally price shopping and price, and then only betting money lines. And it's like going so well.
In NFL and in NBA?
Yeah, I'm betting a lot less NBA because I just think it's
a mess.
It's a mess, but I'm betting a lot of college football. I'm betting a lot of NFL, which I know is like the squarest thing ever. But like, look, I'm a square sports bettor. I just want to get the best price. I'm thinking about what you're saying. I'm like, oh, I definitely should get him. He just called me. He said, man, I'm waiting to do my next thing job-wise. I'm going to be free the next month. Like anything fun you're doing, let me know. And I did get invited to go to this Washington to the game. I'm going to be heading down there around 5:00. And now I'm thinking to myself, like, all right, I got to get him an extra ticket. What am I doing going to the Sixers game when I didn't even think about it, Dave?
Thursday night football. It's an isolated game. It's going to be massive for handle. The boys will have it, under control. You can go and enjoy it. It's only 3.5.
Yeah.
So you won't even have to lay that much on a money line. The Eagles are going to win tomorrow, no?
I actually think the Washington Commanders.
Whoa.
But then the way I think about it is like they're at 38%. Like I like, Sportsbook gives you this amazing ability to look at the odds and percentages, which it's for me is like we always think about percentages. We don't think like, other than Dave, we don't think like it's minus 800 to rain today. We think 90% chance of rain. So when I think about and I look at the game, it's like it's like 63 Eagles, 37 Commanders, and if you could shop on pricing, get pretty close to that. Man, doesn't 37 seem cheap? Like this guy Jaden Daniels is unbelievable. This team is by far the second best team in the NFC East, maybe the best team in the NFC East. We know the Eagles make nothing look easy, even the first half of Dallas last week. I went to the game against Jacksonville. They definitely didn't make that look easy. They should have lost that game. I don't know. Doesn't it seem like divisional rival, 50-50? Eagles played that primetime game in Atlanta Monday night. Everyone was so excited. How could they possibly lose this game? They lost the game. Like, I don't know. Like, it seems to me a 50-50 game. And so if I would be betting it, and I think I have already bet it, I'm betting Washington.
So you sound like the Eagles are not the second best team in the NFC, according to you. It's Detroit and then who? Because we're trying to figure that puzzle out to try to get the NFC championship nailed, to then maybe nail an exacta and things like that.
Doesn't it seem like there's a pretty big gap though between Detroit and everybody else? Like, does it matter? Like, I honestly think Detroit's your Super Bowl champion this year. Like, they are the team of destiny. They made coaching decisions last year that literally forced them out of winning the NFC because they had beaten San Francisco every single way in that game. Yeah. And Campbell just made like 2 or 3 decisions. You're like, oh man, why? You just take the points there. Dude, you'd be up 3 scores. Like, why didn't you do? And then he does it again. You'd be up 2 scores, and then obviously they lose. Like, don't we all want to see Lions Chiefs? Like, who doesn't want to see that for the Super Bowl? Like, that's going to be like 35-32 sort of haymakers.
I don't know. Can the Chiefs score 30 points on anybody? I don't know if they can score 30 points on anybody right now.
That's a good point. They are, Dave, are they the worst 9-0 team you've ever seen?
I don't know if I want to say that, because I remember when the Steelers not too long ago were undefeated, and I kept saying, everybody was saying, oh, Dave, are you excited? I'm like, no, they're not good. Like, they're going to lose, and they're going to get destroyed when they finally do. And I think they ended up 13-0 and got beat. And then I will never forget, I was rushing home to watch them play in the playoff game against the Browns. And before I even got in the door, it was like 3 minutes in and they were down 14-0. And I told my mother-in-law and father-in-law, like, you going to watch a game? I'm like, no, it's done. Yeah. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, it's over. It should have never been to this point.
Yeah.
I don't want to, I mean, they're not even power rated as the best team in the AFC, Alex, by a lot of people that do this. A lot of guys that, it's Baltimore.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talk that Buffalo is there. A lot of people aren't buying that. Nobody wants to mention the Steelers, and I get that. But the Chiefs are like arguably C if it's A, B, C.
Yeah.
But they keep finding ways to win. You want to talk about destiny, Alex? What was the end game? Did you take any bets on the end game as the Chiefs were going to lose?
Oh.
They were going to lose on Sunday.
We get a lot of these, and you could see them on the tape. It's like, I think a lot of recreational bettors, and I think the American odds format, it makes it so scary for a lot of recreational bettors to take a minus 400 favorite because they think to themselves, I got to bet 400 to win 100. Like, it's such an uphill climb. Whereas I think a lot of our players, they just look for value. So they say, hey, this team is offered at 80% odds, minus 400, but I think they have an 82% chance of winning. So I'm going to bet 10K. Like we saw it today, some college basketball play, someone bet 15,000 on a 96% favorite. And so we tend to get, a prime is probably similar in this way. We tend to get a lot of action. We had a guy that bet $17,000 on the Celtics last night at 92%.
Oops.
How that one ended. Man, how did that one end? Oh my gosh, did you watch the end of that game? Holy cow. Oops. And so we tend to get a lot of this where like our customers will just basically, it's almost like our market makers are giving you the best price on the favorite to beg you to do it. And then throughout the game, we just have players double and triple down. And I don't think they listen to the, Dave Sharapan's school of betting, which is like, you can bet it once live. You can bet it a second time live. Once you bet it a third time live and it's just like not going your direction, you got to stop. And we've had some huge swings as a result where like Detroit was an example. Everyone was I didn't see one bet on Houston on the tape. And I think Chiefs was the same thing. That would have been a huge day for the market makers. But it's in the sports books. I'm sure they call these people all sorts of names, euphemistically and pejoratively. I've heard a lot of names, but every once in a while, like that's the great thing about probabilities. When you think about it, 90% chance of winning means that 10% chance of losing. Yep. 80% chance of winning means 20% chance of losing. And you get these customers that just kind of keep doing it.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden the bottom falls through.
Yep.
But it's
thank goodness for them, and they should all sign up for an account with SportTrade because
and listen,
they don't have a fear of laying 30-1 as Denver gets the ball at midfield. Yep. They're going to just drive down and kick this layup field goal. And it's good until it's not. And then when it's not, they go, send them more money because we got to do it again. It's unreal.
Listen, that's not any worse or better of a strategy than betting underdogs or betting. Like the great thing about math and betting is like there's the price you're paying for a sports bet, and then there's a true price, a true probability. Sharps agree. That is all that matters. You could be betting a player prop, a parlay, and in general, sports books make money because they sell you a bet at an overvalued price. That's it. So if you bet something at 30% odds, it's probably true that the true price is 28% odds. If you place a 10-leg same game parlay at 9-1, which is 10% odds, it's probably the case that has a 6% chance of hitting. That's all sports betting is. They're making a transaction, and market makers are trying to sell you things overvalued, and they're trying to buy them back from you at an undervalued price. That's why cash out offers are egregiously horrible outside of SportTrade because they're trying to buy the thing back from you at an undervalued price when they sold it to you at an overvalued price. That's it. So next time anyone out there is listening, placing a sports bet, about to bet something at minus 110, know the book thinks it's worth plus 100, 50%, but you are paying minus 110, 52.4. That's why price shopping matters so much.
Yep.
Alex, what can we say to somebody who, okay, say I'm in Virginia or I'm in Arizona and I haven't either downloaded SportTrade or I haven't seen the tape. I haven't opened an account with you guys. Is there anything you want people to do who are recreational players who don't do this for a living, who don't stare at odd screens, 24 hours a day? But is there something you can tell them, like watch our NFL prop market or watch our NBA, sides and totals, where you can show as an example of what the difference between SportTrade is and other sports books in their state?
Totally. I've had this sort of epiphany, which I should have had a lot sooner, which is if you indeed care about price, you're probably already on an odds screen and you probably kind of see SportTrade there. And so to your question, I think you framed it in the right way, Matt, like speaking to players that don't do all that, right? So now we're talking to a recreational sports bettor. And to those listening, like price sort of matters to you, but it's not going to be the reason why you make a decision. So when I give you this pitch, I'm not going to talk about price. Open up Sporttrade. If you're in Virginia or in Arizona, even if you're out of any of our 5 states, just open the app. We have, again, this sort of core tenet of probability. Watch the Sixers games. I don't know what the Sixers are in the money line right now. I think it's like 26 or 28%. Somewhere in there, I can check. Just watch that for 5 or 6 minutes, right? It's if you're already a traditional sports bettor, it's sort of an adjustment. Like, wait, I'm used to seeing like minus 180 and plus 150. Let's see, where do the Sixers sign? Okay, the Sixers are 18% on Sporttrade. 18%. Okay. So if you're a recreational player, think of it this way. The thing Sporttrade allows you to do is, because the market is sort of always on and the spread is so tight, you have that ability to say, you know what? I'm not even going to make the trade. I'm going to make it in my head. I'm going to pretend I bet the Sixers at 18% win probability. And I bet you that at some point during the game, they're going to be higher than that win probability. And indeed, you'll find that they likely are. That's the magic of Sporttrade for a more recreational player. It's a way of thinking about sports betting that's totally different. And I guarantee you there's guys on your show that may not want to admit it to a larger group, but may tell you in a one-on-one setting, hey, man, I never actually understood what minus 373 meant. I just sort of went with the flow.
Right.
This is an odds format for more recreational players that everyone understands. Like, wait, Sixers at 18% win probability. Okay, 18 gets back a total of 100. Got it. Okay, all I have to do is bet them at 18% and then cash out when it gets higher than that, and I would have made money. And the answer is yes. So if you're a recreational player out there, try Sporttrade, just open it and just watch the probabilities go up and down. I think so many people got preconditioned to this over the election betting stuff, where we saw Trump go up and Harris go up and Trump go up, and here's these counties reporting all these sort of things. It's a probability-based structure that once you get used to it, it's actually way simpler than even looking at American odds, because it helps you conceptualize how much of a fee am I paying here? Like, okay, right now it says the Sixers are at 18.5% and the Cavaliers are 83.5%. Well, wait a minute. Adding those two up, you get to 102. Those don't add up to 100. How could probabilities not add up to 100? We just allowed you to conceptualize the spread of the market, the fee that the market makers are charging you. Right? We just talked about market makers sell you bets overvalued. That's how they make money. This tells you just how overvalued. You take the 102, that's 2%. You add 1% to each side and saying, okay, if I'm buying at 18.5%, it means the market thinks it's worth 17.5%. That's the fee I'm paying. And if you just watch it just for a quarter, you'll see, wait a minute. It went up because Tyrese Maxey made a 3. It went down because Donovan Mitchell just did his thing. It went up because Joel Embiid just came back on the court. It went down because Paul George just went out for an injury, and so on and so forth. If you watch and you get the hang of it, even as a recreational player, that is why we designed this app in the first place. It's for the person that never really totally understood what minus 125 is.
It will ramp you up quick watching an NBA game live on the app. You'll start to go an 8-0 run. You'll see how much a market maker values it versus what you value it versus what, I don't know, bettors value it. It'll change quickly. Last one for me, sir, before we get you out of here. And we're going to talk to you off air about maybe doing a Sporttrade tour and different things like that, where we might show up and start popping up in states, bring BVB and Sporttrade to places to do signups and things like that. I'll talk to you off the air. Did you see the Louisiana thing with the?
Yes.
I mean, I couldn't wait to ask you about this because I saw it and went, this is just naivety. Like, did he really think that going from 15% to 51% was a good idea, or did he really not know? But like the movie Casino, either way, you got to go. It was terrible.
Yes, I saw this on LinkedIn. Shout out to John Pappas. He may listen to the show. Maybe this makes a clip. Thank you to you. I pinged him on LinkedIn and said, hey, he liked your comment or whatever in a public setting. And then he sent me a DM. He's like, dude, here's the link. Submit your testimony. And as I look at our testimony, it's like 3 or 4 paragraphs. But the takeaway is like, look, we're trying to do this the right way. We're 40 people. We're not a multi-billion-dollar multinational company. We're a startup trying to bring an innovative way of thinking about sports betting to your state. And even better, we do it in a way that's more transparent and cost efficient for your patrons. That's a good thing. We have to be really thoughtful about what states to enter because of costs. And then I went and showed like, hey, at a 51% cost of revenue, or 51% revenue tax rather, we would actually start to be in a position where we're negative before even like our fixed costs. I'd be like if you guys make X dollars per show, but then it costs you X plus $5 to make the show before you even pay yourselves.
Been there.
What business is that? Okay, right.
Sounds familiar.
Not a great place to be.
No.
And that's what I challenged the Louisiana legislature. It's like, can you come up with a business in Louisiana that is paying out $101 for every $100 of revenue they make before salaries and marketing and licensing and audits and property, plant, and equipment and software and servers? Because if you can't, it may be wise to take a broader view at your market and say, where else can I extract tax revenue? Because the more I charge those that have already opted into my regime and legitimized my licensing authority, the more I dilute the value of that license. The more I reward, the more I say to those that don't want to follow the rules that they have indeed made the right decision. And so that was, I have no idea if it had an impact. It probably didn't, but I think they agreed to kind of pull it back, and it's not going to move any further. Because look, 51% tax. I mean, you can't operate a business like that. And I think
we talked about this yesterday, Alex. Like the 51%. I know New York is the one that set the bar, and I understand that the books said yes to New York at 51%. And so every other state says, well, if you're going to give New York 51%, you got to give us 51%. But isn't it apples to oranges when these smaller population states, the reason why the books were able to give the 51% and say yes to it was because of the volume that they were going to see in New York, which is going to be, I don't know, what, a drop in the bucket compared to what they'll see in Louisiana?
I totally agree. I mean, there was a senator, I think in New Jersey, who proposed congressional senator, right? So they're up at the federal government, and they proposed a tax, a transaction tax of every stock trade made in New Jersey. And you might be thinking, wait, they all happen in New York. Well, actually, New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, ICE, all the exchanges are based in northern New Jersey. Do you know what all those exchanges did for the period of one day? They ran all their trading through Chicago because they have hot standby servers, and there was absolutely zero stock trades made in New Jersey for a 24-hour period. That bill disappeared. And so I wish that some of these bigger sports betting operators just said, we forgot to open in Louisiana today.
Yeah. Now you get no tax money.
Now you get no, what is 51% of zero?
Of zero.
Right.
I think, yeah. But at the same time, I can see why there's a lot of people in public saying you're doing all these ads and is this good for it? And I think that's fair too. Like there's never any absolutes seemingly in this industry. It's not like, DraftKings is like the NASDAQ, that one has more utility to society than the other. I think that's fair to say. But we've got to reverse the thinking that we can just tax sports books into oblivion, because at some point they're going to start to become rational actors. And then the worst thing happens, purportedly, for Louisiana, all of their patrons have to go offshore. And so I beg them to look at the offshore market and understand that there's a lot of ways that operators are coming into Louisiana. And some of those operators are opting into the regulatory regime, and some of those operators are not operating into the regulatory regime. So when we think about taxing the ones that are already following all the rules and paying all the taxes and doing all the reporting and all the responsible gaming, you dilute the value, you dilute the meaning of actually doing it the right way.
You incentivize a reason to not do it, which
Correct.
is exactly opposite of what you're supposed to be doing. You agree to 15%. All right, I'll come in. I'll play by your rules. I'll get the license. I'll do this. I'll do that. And then you do, and they go, well, you know what? We see what you're doing. We're going to make you 51% now. Oh, okay. Well, then we're going to close. Like, keep your license fee. We'll move on to another state. That's the problem with the smaller states, right? And an innovative company like you and a startup and everything that's trying to come in and provide a fair product for benefiting the market and the consumers, can't get in. You just, that's not an option, right? Like 51%. I don't know what the number is, but like you can't go into any state that's even close to 51% tax rate, right?
Yeah, not an option. And I would leave you guys with this. Like I've pushed this before, and I think I should, if I had more time, I'd put more energy into it. But this concept of a hold-based tax rate is once again really appropriate, because when you think about the value that sport trade brings to a regulator, it's that sport trade ends up being the last line of defense that holds limited players at all these other regulated shops from going offshore. And if we do indeed care about protecting players and not having players go into the unregulated market, we should be rewarding the operators that say, you know what, we'll take all the players that are limited by everyone else. Sure, it's going to drive our hold down, but we'll do it. Not only does that have value to the regulator, it should have value to all the other operators, because now they can say that we, as a coalition of regulated operators, are a one-stop shop for every sort of sports bettor in your market. And so it's just such a good model, but I fear that it has too much nuance for a sports betting legislator who just says, I'm just sick and tired of the ads, and my buddy lost $10,000 playing on FanDuel, so like, screw you guys. And maybe it is. Maybe it's a pipe dream to have that sort of nuance, but it is in a lot of ways so much better of a regime, tax regime, than a flat, hey, what's fair? 15, 51. The answer is it's different for every single operator, because they all have different goals. They all have different cost bases. They all have different sort of capital formation. They all have different products. They all have different holds. Maybe there's a structure that sort of adjusts for all of that dynamically and said, the fairer product you offer, the lower tax rate you pay. And that's it.
I don't mean to end it on a really sour note, but Embiid and PG3 are both ruled out for tonight's game.
Oh.
Sorry. No,
Alex, see if you can get rid of the tickets and go to the Eagles game.
So wait, let's see. Are the Sixers still at like 18%, or like did that just happen? Or
I don't know. That's from the chat just telling us that both Embiid and Paul George.
11. The point spread is now it's 11, and the money line. I mean, just for it's minus 550 is pretty much painted everywhere. Plus 425 on the take back. You can do the percentage on that. That's not good.
Yeah, it's still Sixers 18%. So that tells you that the market maybe already knew. So maybe
Alex, tell the market makers to make it 25%. Give them 25% on the Sixers tonight. You think they're going to win? See if anybody will bet it at 25%.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I'm wondering if we even got any action at all in this game. I'm looking at the tape, guys, and it's like all player prop. It's like, come on, like, is there any non-player props on here? So I have to scroll for a while to see if anyone's betting the Sixers. But I'm now walking back my sort of controversial statement about thinking that the Sixers were going to win today.
Yeah.
And I'll just leave you guys with this. I think the Sixers have an 18% chance of winning tonight.
Fair. All right. That's
2 and 10. All right. Alex, good stuff, man. We'll talk next week. All right.
Thank you, guys.
That is Alex Kane, the CEO of Sport Trade, joining us here on the Bostonian versus the Book every Wednesday here on Whale Watch Wednesday. He joins us talking everything going on with the sports gambling world and sports betting world. Yeah, Sixer fans. Yikes. 13-0. Congratulations, Cleveland. It's pretty good.
I mean, what an unbelievable loss that would be. As good as they've started.
Like Boston last night.
If they just couldn't pull away from them.
They just play with their food. Same thing happened tonight. Just what they do. They happened last year. Boston is double-digit favorites, in particular at home. Was an absolute go against last year. They just don't have that killer instinct.
But it's like they don't even consider the season really starting until
they don't care. They're like,
these early games are so.
And the first half team total hit. I mean, they played in the first half over 62.5 hit.
Right.
So that they scored 65 in the first half, and then they were just like, all right, yeah, whatever. 20 turnovers. 20 turnovers last night for Boston. That's just unacceptable. We'll get to that in a second. Winnipeg is now 15-1. They whipped the Rangers 6-3. It's the best start ever in NHL history through 16 games. The Jets now lead the league in goals scored and goals allowed. When are we buying them as cup contenders? We're almost a fourth of the way through the year.
I know, it's crazy. and I didn't really know that the NHL was taking off 2 weeks
Yes.
for that thing. I thought that was a week.
Nation
that's a lot.
thing. Yeah.
Stack up as many wins, I guess, as you can now, but like you take a 2-week break, it's starting over.
Okay.
So I don't know if I want to say obviously right now they're a cup contender, but teams are so different come April, health wise and all that other stuff. I don't know. They looked good though. Boy, they're a good hockey team. Fun to watch.
6-3.
Fast. Power play. I saw 2 power plays. I was like, man, really moving the puck. Like it's all working. Everybody's on board, and then Hellebuck's there to pick up.
Yeah, I mean, Hellebuck's been great for the past 5 seasons, so it's not stunning that they're playing great defense. The difference is they're averaging over 4.5 goals a game, nearly 5 goals a game they're averaging. Yeah. Like that's the, oh my gosh, part of this. Because if you combine the best defense in the league with the best offense in the league, 15-1.
It's very impressive. It's worthy of throwing, a little something on it if you're starting to look at the West.
Yeah.
Because they're going to make the playoffs. And if they stay at the top and everything has to go through
them,
Winnipeg.
Right.
I mean, it'll be pretty good.
Could be interesting. The Klay Thompson return show was pretty cool last night. He scored 22 points as the Mavericks went to the Warriors, but Steph Curry had a personal 10-0 run to spark the Warriors to win the game. They covered, amazingly enough, on a Steph Curry 3, went up by 4. 3 got hit, couple of free throws by Steph. They win the game by 3 last night. The Warriors are a lot better than I thought. I was on them last night, but I'm actually pretty impressed that without Klay Thompson, they really haven't missed a beat. And Klay wasn't great last year, and he scored 22 points. But I don't think the Warriors' Steph Curry run is over just about yet.
No, he's so much fun to watch.
They're gonna have a say in who's coming out of the West.
They're not going down without a fight, no matter where they end up. I mean, I don't know if you want to let them end up in the top half of that West. Like you want them to have to go on the road.
Yeah,
for sure. They're stacking wins right now. I don't know. But watching Steph do his thing, Warrior season, attaboy Rosie. Yeah, that's fun. I feel like it got to be a game attended there in person and just see this show. Got to see Steph play in person. Never seen
fun.
Steph play
I saw him
in
play in college. I saw him play at Davidson.
Yeah.
I've seen him play in the NBA. It's the release that is what's so stunning. It goes off so fast. It looks like he's just chucking the ball up like you're playing some game of, horse or something.
It's
incredible.
So fun. It's just, it even, and Jess doesn't really like NBA. She's no real interest in it, but
right.
The game caught her interest yesterday in the fourth quarter. And I was like, because like, hey, can we turn on the voice? I'm like, no, not right now. Can we just watch this? Well, they're losing. I'm like, hold on, and even Kendall looked up and we were watching the game. And then as he made another shot, you're like, wait a second. It was fun. I don't feel like they're ever out of a game. That's why.
Well, the NBA, we talked about it with Alex a little bit, but like betting in the NBA, and I did it last night. So I took the Warriors money line pregame. In the first half, the Warriors were up. I don't know. They were up like 5 or 6 points. I took a little sprinkle on the Warriors again. Then the Warriors went up by 10 in the third quarter. Took a sprinkle back on the Mavericks. Then in the fourth quarter, the Warriors were down by 8. Took another sprinkle on the Warriors. Right. And then they came all the way back. So like you can go back and forth. And I'm not betting large amounts of money on this, but if you watch an NBA game, and the Warriors might be the number 1 team in basketball with this, when Steph is on the court or Steph is not on the court, they're just a different basketball team.
Yeah.
So you can go back and forth, and then they covered the 3 at the end. I wasn't even laying points. I was just taking money line.
Right.
And I laid minus 134 at the start, and then I was taking small pluses on both sides. And like I didn't win a ton of money doing it, but you can make money doing that if you're just looking at the roller coaster ride that the NBA is each and every game. It's like we've talked about this before, but like the Warriors, given their rotation, the third quarter Warriors, it's still a thing. When they're down at the break, the third quarter, there's still a team you can bet on in the third quarter to come back and win that quarter.
You don't have to even like middle it every time, but there's so much opportunity. You want to learn how to in-game bet, just watch an NBA game.
Yeah.
And just do it for $5 a bet.
Right.
5 this way, 5 that way, 5 this way, 5 that way. You had so many opportunities. It is so rare in an NBA game now, especially with the
wire to wire.
Nobody starts the game and wins the whole time.
Yep.
There's leads back and forth. There's Wetzel's talked about it on Sports Grid. There's this bet where both teams lead by 10 points during a game. It's a gigantic plus. You'd be surprised how often that happens, right? You see, halfway through, biggest lead 8, biggest lead 12, back and forth. So, but the Warriors are, I don't want to say legit, like,
no, they are
Western Conference representative, like
possible.
Right now.
Oh, Celtics, Warriors, sign me up.
It was the favorite, and they got all them injuries.
Right.
Okay. Denver.
The Warriors are live. And Denver's a big question about Denver's shooting. Lakers are get out of here. I mean,
Suns?
Suns potentially, but the injury bug is obviously a big concern there with the Phoenix Suns. So, yeah, I don't know. It's pretty wild. The Pistons last night beat the Heat after Eric Spoelstra pulled a Chris Webber. I mean, shouldn't the head coach know how many timeouts you have?
Everybody makes mistakes. It happens.
As a head coach, it's a Hall of Fame head coach. What are we doing? Come on, Spoelstra, what are you doing?
Forgot
how many timeouts they had. Horrible. Lose a game on a tee, a technical foul.
Group B standings: Bucks, Pistons 1-0, Heat 0-1, Raptors 0-1, and the Pacers haven't played a game yet.
Oh boy.
Pacers going to win that group?
They did last year.
Yeah.
Maybe so. They very well might. I want to circle back to what we talked about with Alex at the end, because there was a comment that was made by the former advisor to Governor Cuomo in New York. He said it to Legal Sports Report with quite the quote about what the 51% tax rate was all about. He was asked, how did they determine the 51% tax rate? And the advisor said, legalizing sports betting was not a license to make other companies rich. If we're going to allow it in New York and deal with some negative associations with it, we would need to increase. We would need an increase in problem gambling and addiction services. Those are social costs borne by the state too. We wanted to get as much tax revenue as possible, and the operators were crying poverty at this point. They said it would not be possible to do business in New York, and it would not work for them. And frankly, and here's the $1 million quote, they had legislatures bought and paid for by them that were parroting the issue. As negotiations went on the inside, I cannot tell you how many stories the lobbyists planted and the press planted. We always said the tax rate was good and it worked for the state. We were proven right at the end of the day. What do you make of this comment from an advisor to Governor Cuomo?
You can say whatever you want now. It's done.
I mean, he's saying people were bought and paid for. There were politicians who were bought and paid for by the books.
Is he lying?
I don't know if he is or he isn't, but he's saying that they're parroting all these lines that 51% wasn't going to work, and I guess it works because no one has closed up shop yet in New York and gone home.
Well, no, they have.
Not the big boys. Yeah, the little guys have. Not the big boys.
Never will.
Right.
But a lot of them that came and tried, left. A lot of people were handing in the papers and said, "Wait, you're really serious with this 51%? Nah, you know what? We're going to go to Indiana. We're good. We're going to go to Iowa. We're fine." And then they found out that the pool isn't as big or as deep in Iowa and in Illinois and in Colorado and Iowa, all these places, and they're going, geez, maybe this business really is not going to work here. Listen, I was saying this when it went legal. Talked to a lot of people. I mean, we got smart guys like Alex on the show. Talked to a lot of smart guys, lawyers, lobbyists. Nobody knows shit is real. And this guy just said the quiet part out loud. What is he going to do? They're not changing the tax rate, P-Roll.
No. And that what I found that quote to be so interesting in the wake of all of this talk around Louisiana and other states that have said, well, we're going to go to 51%. And these guys are saying, well, go ahead, but you don't have the same environment that we did. But we were proven correct at the end of the day that we're not here to make the sports books rich. We're here to help the state. And so if you want to have legalized sports betting in the state, great. We're taking the lion's share. 51% off the top is ours. It makes it crazy.
When he said it at the time, I was still working in the book. And when Cuomo said it, I remember we talked about it in the risk room. And I'm like, the first thing that everybody should say is, then we're not coming.
Right.
But they didn't, because they needed the business. They needed the growth. And it is that big. But you knew that was the line of demarcation as far as who can do it and who can't. There's three. Maybe
what do you mean? No one should do business in New York regardless of the business? What? Wow.
Blue Spader's doesn't even like
it. It's a little aggressive there, don't you think? On that, it's a little on the aggressive side. Nobody should do business yet.
Yeah,
why?
That was one of those things that was said, and he had the leverage. You guys are going to come in. You're going to make all this money. We're going to put ads on everything. You're really going to provide those jobs? Okay, you're going to pay. Well, it's working for the 2 or 3 that it's working for, but they're still crying the blues. That's the other thing. I mean, he said it out loud. They cry the blues all the time. I just read an article this morning that we can discuss tomorrow about, because Joe Brennan Jr. posted it.
Yeah.
It's an article in the Wall Street Journal. Catherine wrote it, who I know, reporter. Stock prices and things are being affected because people had a good month of October and November. DraftKings adjusted their income $250 million because of it, because people won. I mean, it can happen. It should happen if you're running the book the right way. It shouldn't hurt you that bad when it happens. So you'll obviously either, F around and find out is what a lot of the kids are saying. You want to be a sports book?
Yeah.
Now they're saying, our hold percentage is down to 2%.
Oh, no. Oh.
Whoa.
Oh,
how could that happen?
Because
you guys got all the answers. You got,
the parlay
can't
business
be both ways for the books. Like it just can't.
Yeah, but then what did he do last week when everybody got smoked, which we'll get to in a second with dogs? So it goes in cycles. Your Penguins are at home tonight against the Red Wings. Are they going to give up 6 goals in the first period again?
No, I don't think you're going to worry about that. I would expect a really good effort from the Penguins tonight.
Oh, okay. The books do too.
That's what happens with a team that
veterans
say is like there's some pride.
You would hope, right, to bounce back from that.
6 goals in the first period. I mean, you're supposed to beat the Red Wings tonight, but I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't lay it -135, -140. I don't like it. Do you like the Penguins? I don't.
No. I hate the game. I want no part of it.
Yeah.
But I think the under probably is decent just because of what happened in the last game, but careful with that. Be real careful with that. Vegas is on the road at Anaheim after getting smacked at home. Big favorites against the Ducks tonight.
Gigantic favorites.
A little bit.
They are also supposed to win this game.
No way.
Did we get goalie confirmation yet?
No.
Yes. I would put Hill back in.
Uh-huh.
Get back in there. Go win this game tonight. Like
Get back on the horse.
Like you got to go. Yeah, I don't know. I looked at the board today in the hockey and I went, whew. I think there's one play for me on the whole board today that I really feel like confident in.
Okay.
It's not this game.
One play?
Sidewise. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Los Angeles, Colorado, again, you want to lay it with Colorado? No. You want to take it with the Kings? It'd be the only way I would play that one. Carolina, Utah. I just saw Carolina, so my
who got shut out? Detroit got shut out in the last game because Pittsburgh scored. It was 7-1 was the final.
Correct.
So so the Red Wings got shut out in their last game?
Must have been.
Huh. For the first period over. Trend, you want to do that?
Yeah.
Do you at what point do you bet the Sixers? 11, 12, 13? How many points do I got to give you to take Philly tonight?
I'll pull you 20. 20.
You need 20 points to take the
I think in game. Yeah, no, this could be the blowout. Like this, Cleveland walks in there and gets a huge lead, and the Sixers go, yeah, we're just emptying the bench and we're running the clock and let's get out of here. This guy don't want to play. We don't want to play. I don't know.
93.
93. I think we can get 93. We might be the first half score for the Cavs. I don't know.
93 points. Yeah. My goodness gracious.
No, I don't want that. I don't know. Put it in the chat, you guys. You guys voted in the poll. Put it in the chat right now. How many points? If I give you, how many points do you want? A reasonable number, less than 20.
15
20 is my number.
15.
You taking plus 15?
Yeah, give me 15. I'll take it.
Football guy 97 said 15.
Yeah, I agree. Give me 15. Yeah, I'm on the same number. Yeah, give me 15. Memphis is at the Lakers. Did you see what the Lakers are doing with Bronny James?
I did.
What do you make of
tell the people
what do you make of the NBA, a power franchise, saying we're not going to allow one of our G League players to go on the road. He will only play home games in the G League, and we will keep on calling him up and go back and forth. So when he won't travel with us, but he won't be on the G League roster when they go on the road. He'll only be on the G League roster because he's on a two-way contract. The only way he'll go to the G League is when they're at home.
There's not another person in the league that would get this deal.
Yep. And it's amazing to me because if you're trying to make his life a living hell, congratulations.
You're
doing a really good job of it. Doing a really, really good job of making Bronny James be essentially the most marked man in the G League. Like when teams play the LA G League team, which I forget the name of it, but they're going to go want to hang a 50 spot on him every time they go up against him. Like they want to make an example of him every time. I don't understand why. Just let the kid go on the road. Who cares? The line was that people aren't going to make money off Bronny James in the G League.
The goal of the G League is to get ready to play in the league. The goal of the G League players, as it is with any league below the league, is to get reps, to get better.
Right.
You not setting him on the road is okay. He can only get the reps, but it's only at home.
Yeah.
But he can come sit on the bench for the Laker games.
Yep.
And go on a road with the Lakers and build up the time served. The clock keeps ticking. The more you get playing. I mean, this is ultimate. And again, whatever you're doing. But I'm sure there's people in places going, man, I would kill for that deal.
Of course.
And I can't, there's no one on any team in the league that can get this. So is this a precedent? Let's put it this way, counselor. Is this a precedent? Will someone else ask for this and
No,
get
because,
it. Because
no,
how
no.
can you allow this?
Because the angle, what they're saying is that Bronny James, when he goes on the road, is a gigantic, because he played one game on the road, and I think the ticket prices were like 15 to 20x what they normally would be. And so the Lakers are saying, we're not going to give your G League team a chance to make a ton of money with a major score, like the Caitlin Clark effect, essentially. We're not going to allow one big marquee player to show up and sell your arena out, and you're going to make all this money off our guy. We're just going to keep him with us. If you want to watch Bronny James play in the G League, you have to come and watch him with the South Bay Lakers. You can't watch him, playing in wherever, in Henderson with the Ignite. We're not going to let that happen. It makes no sense to me. It's really stupid.
It seems like a really short-term, small-minded decision.
And it makes him a bigger,
everybody look bad.
And it makes him a bigger target. It makes him a bigger issue.
Without a question.
And you put the spotlight on him versus just letting the kid go and suffer in, complete irrelevancy while he makes himself into an NBA basketball player, because he sure as hell ain't one now. So go and try to find your way. And it's really bad. It's bad. Yeah, Caitlin Clark could actually play. That's really true. Yes.
Right?
Caitlin Clark that's a good point. Clark could actually play.
But like, you're making the entire G League better
with him in it. Yep.
Like, there's a chance that my kid might go, hey, is Bronny's team playing in Henderson? Is he playing? Like, we'll go to, I would not go to the game otherwise.
Yeah, but they don't want that to happen. They don't want the Henderson Ignite to make money.
I understand, but that helps the whole G League.
Agreed. It's stupid. It's a Laker uppity, ridiculous opinion about themselves. It's dumb. It's absolutely dumb. It's a very bad idea. But Memphis tonight versus the Lakers. If this was 7, I would take Memphis. It's not. It's 6.
7 now. It's
it is
7.5 in places.
Oh,
yeah.
And I would take Memphis. Okay.
Yeah,
give me 7.
It's moving right now as we speak.
You give me 7. I'll take Memphis.
The board just lit up.
Oh.
7 minus 15. I'm going to call Benson and say, what are you doing? Got the juice on the 15. On the 7. Like it's football. Oh, that drives me crazy.
All right, to the NFL we go on Wednesday. We take a look at our first look at the NFL. NFL dogs last week went 11-3 against the spread. It's the best winning mark with just 3 or less losses in a given week since 2017. So the books did very well. Public got killed. Do we see November normally, historically speaking, is not a great week, a great month for the public?
There's usually 1 week in there where it's a favorite week, and then the weeks closer, like Thanksgiving is the public day forever.
Right.
It's always you just bet Detroit. You bet Dallas most of the time, and then
3-leg money line parlays.
Game it goes that way.
Yeah. 3-leg money line parlay.
Yeah,
three legs.
Win. For years it was bet against Detroit, bet on Dallas, and then bet the favorite in the night game. It was just pre-printed tickets. 2 games went over. It was easy. This week's electric.
It is.
Oh, I think this week is great. No? Oh, this week is great. Great games. No? Green Bay, Chicago. Interesting now.
Really?
Oh, I think it's very interesting. The wise guys are all over the Bears.
Dead cat bounce.
They can't get enough. It's 5. They knocked it down from 6 yesterday to 5 today.
Electric,
the Rams is interesting against New England. They're taking the Patriots like it's like the game's over.
Well, it's a good bet, but
okay.
That's electric. Rams Patriots is electric.
No, as far as the storylines of the game, Seattle, San Francisco is a good division game. Sunday night, forget about it. I mean, Cincy and the Chargers is an awesome game. And, Sunday night football totals, overs, this and
we'll get to that. Yeah. The Colts are starting Richardson.
Oh, they already took the 4s. Gone. Bye-bye. That's it.
The Colts beat the Jets. I mean, if the Jets...
For content's sake, can we please have it happen?
If the Jets lose to the Colts outright, and Anthony Richardson
please.
I mean, this is just, I mean, who else are you firing? You can't fire anybody else. It's just the entire thing is a disaster.
Oh, I so want the Colts to win a game.
Oh, my.
I so want the Colts to win.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. I don't know.
Amazing if that were to happen. If the Colts.
I mean, how bad was the meetings like yesterday where they said, listen, the guy's done. If he's good in a spot, fill in.
Yeah, but Flacco can't play anymore. Father
right,
time.
We got to put this kid back in. Somebody called down from upstairs. So that's it. It's
Father
over.
time won. Stop playing
Whatever.
Flacco.
It was cute. It was fun. He won that game. Okay. It's not working.
Yeah.
He lost the whole room. You got to put this kid back in. I don't know. I mean, we didn't even mention the 3 biggest games. That's why I did that on purpose.
We'll get to them.
I know.
4th time ever, a 9-0 team as a dog.
Oh.
Patrick Mahomes is 12-1-1 against the number as a dog.
Man.
Casey is catching 2.5 against Buffalo.
Woo!
You always ask it. Is that this easy? Is it that easy? Just take Kansas City.
You got it right there. You put the numbers up. Good job with the graphics. You spelled everything right. Patrick Mahomes, 12-1-1. ATS as a dog. KC plus 2.5. Bye-bye. Done. It's over. That's it. Get it. I don't even know why Buffalo's going to even show up. Just Kansas City. Just walk in, waltz in, get another win. Done.
The only way I know how to bet this is in-game. I don't think you can bet this pregame.
Oh, man.
Oh, you know I love that, Brandon Riccone. You know
KC in the over.
Speaking my language.
Riccone.
Speaking my language.
It's Wednesday. People voted. How'd the vote end up for the
58%?
Notre Dame? Notre Dame, no, 58%?
Yes. No.
So that was a 58-42. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Put this game in there right now for all the OGs still hanging with us here. Give them
the one time they didn't cover, there was 2 times. One was the Super Bowl and one was the Bills. Yes.
Yeah, this looks alarmingly like the Super Bowl line. San Francisco was minus 2.5, 2.5. And the game was here in Vegas, and Kansas City somehow won. Ian lights out, said Buffalo wins and covers. Put the poll up right now. Buffalo minus, let me get the consensus line correct.
2.5.
Painted.
Yeah.
2.5.
Everywhere. It's 2.5.
Buffalo minus 2.5. Kansas City plus 2.5. Vote in the poll right here on the BVB.
Man, do the Bills
OT,
need it.
Please, we don't need any OT. I don't want to see
the Bills need this. The Bills need the win in a big way, just from a confidence perspective. Just need to prove to themselves they can beat the Chiefs. You can't beat this version. What?
They beat the Chiefs
one time
in the regular season.
Yeah.
They don't beat them in the playoffs. It's a regular season game. It's in Buffalo. The Chiefs barely won that game against the can't score. Mahomes is human.
Well, he has no weapons. I mean, he has no weapons.
I am going to wear the Buffalo stuff on Sunday in the house.
Good.
They are going to be so mad at me.
Good. Remind them where they're from.
Well, hopefully the Steelers beat the Ravens. Otherwise, they're going to be really pissed off.
Well, you can't be mad about that. You can't be mad if the Steelers lose and be a Chief fan the same day.
I know, but
what are we doing?
People, they're starting to. People are getting very, very excited about the Steelers.
They should, but you can't. I'm not going to listen. If your wife tries to tell like go Steelers, I'm going to laugh at her. I'm going to say, oh no, you do not have any right to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's none of that. You have completely and totally chucked off all of your allegiance to the Steelers. You are a Chief fan. You were riding that bus.
I have to get her on a show and ask legitimately, if the Steelers play the Chiefs in the playoffs, who are you rooting for?
She's going to say the Chiefs, according to you. I've asked you that question.
I think she will.
Then you have absolutely no business being mad if the Steelers win or lose on Sunday. You have no emotional connection to it at all.
Yeah.
Can't jump around. And again, I still can't figure out where in the hell the allegiance came from for your wife when it comes to, like, she likes Taylor Swift, but I didn't realize she was that big of a Taylor Swift fan that Taylor Swift's boyfriend's team became her team. Just don't get it.
She listened to the podcast. She just started listening.
That makes you a Chief fan? Why is she an Eagle fan then? I mean, Jason Kelsey has had an incredible career with the Eagles. Why isn't she an Eagle fan?
She doesn't like anything about Philadelphia.
So we're literally cherry picking just based upon eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Okay.
Yeah.
Just so we all know. You mentioned the total. Sunday night football, 8-2 to the under this year. Since 2022, 35-13 to the under. Bengals Chargers is 47 this week.
48 now.
What do you make of this? So they're betting the over. Is it a setup? Or are they just fading the trend? Like, what's the thought there?
Butchie, if you're watching, you can type shh in the chat. They're betting it up during the week so they can bet it under on Sunday.
Okay. All right. Fair. It's a head fake. Okay.
I mean, have you watched the games? Although if you watch the Cincy games, they are an over.
All of them. We opened
their
at 43.
defense.
The look ahead line was 43 this summer. Now it's 48.
Yeah.
He needed 48 now.
Yeah. JC from KC on fire today. I repeat, the Chargers have not given up 20 points this year.
Yep. I'm telling you, I may need to buy Charger futures before this game tonight or Sunday night. Because if they go and whip the Bengals and shut them down, people are going to start to buy. They could, but I don't like the Bengals. So I don't like the Bengals. I think their defense is overrated. I think their pass rush without Henderson is really down. I think Jamar Chase is an incredible weapon, but I think for the most part, the Chargers will have an answer.
Type it in the chat, boys. That involves typing 3 letters, LAC or CIN, because we're voting in the poll.
Yeah.
And those of you that left comments about the Pop-Tarts, I saw them. Thank you very much for doing that yesterday on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Somebody said s'mores. Completely wrong, Chef Benny.
Look at this.
Double fudge. Come on.
Look at this.
LAC. And there comes the CINs. There we go, big business. Addison. The Shrew said LAC. This is great. I mean, that line's perfect. Perfect.
Oh, Rain's going over.
Juice. Cincy. Rain with the total.
A lot of Charger love. I get it. I really do. Stay away, Blue Spader. Okay.
Not using that one in the contest, I would assume. I think that one will have great two-way action like in the contest. There will be a lot of people on that game because it's a Sunday night game, 1, and 2, because I think.
What's the number? 1.5?
Right now, yes.
No, from a contest perspective, that's what I'm curious. If it's 2.5.
No. The Westgate came out today. I didn't see what they used. Circa's going to use 2 or 2.5. Because they're debating. There are 2 now waiting to see if anybody's taking the Bengals, and they're not. So I love when they get off of the road and put out a number. That's what you're supposed to do on Wednesday. Nothing you have on your line should be what everyone else has today. Because it's what? 10% limits. I mean, if you take 100,000, you're taking 10 dimes today. Find out. Get off the market. See if anybody wants it. Give them a taste. That's what you're supposed to do. But they don't. A lot of places leave it and sit. Let's see, Dave, where does the number stop with Houston and Dallas? Monday night. It's up to 7.5 already. I mean, we'll reconvene on Monday. It might be 9. Dallas is a disaster. Sorry, big business. At least you got the Stars and the Mavs. The Mavs are a good basketball team. Don't let that loss last night discourage you. Mavs could get back to the finals. What are you reading right now? You're reading something. What's the matter?
I'll talk about it off the air.
Oh,
I get them on the air.
You froze. Oh my God. Oh.
No, I actually this country every day. This country keeps on making me. I get more and more insane thoughts about where this country is going. Something just happened. I just can't put my brain around. Steelers Ravens -3.
I just happened to run out today and I stopped down at the Santa Fe. Posted a picture. People loved the hat. It was nice. Saw some stuff, people. And I went, man, I put something Pittsburgh on today. I'd wear the Pirates stuff. I want to wear Pittsburgh stuff all week. I want to win this game so bad. Efforting my best to get on Ravens fans for the rest of the week. Ravens backers, Ravens people to come on and keep telling me how the Ravens are going to go in there and win this game. You know the numbers, right? The dog in his wins,
Mm.
covers. You're going to be crazy to be laying 3. They may win. Good luck. They ain't winning by more than 3. They're not winning by more than 3.
I mean, this is a game. Lamar has played at an MVP level for the better part of a month and a half. Yet when they play a defense like Pittsburgh, Lamar worries me. The turnovers worry me. Tomlin as a dog worries me. My biggest concern is that defense for the Ravens. Their secondary is awful.
For those of you in the tri-state area, Lewis is going to this game, Raymaker Lou, and I believe Bonvie is making a road trip down there. There might be a little BVB get-together.
Oh, my.
At the game, apparently. I don't know. Yeah, this is hype. This week is just different. You know what else is different? They got that big moose running the ball for the Ravens.
Yeah, Derrick Henry could be a big problem for you guys for sure.
Oh, it's going to be a problem, P-Roll.
Could be for sure. But this is the worst pass defense in the NFL. The Ravens are the best rushing defense in the NFL.
Yeah.
But the best pass defense, but the worst pass defense in the NFL. So given the way that Russell Wilson's throwing the football, given the way that Pickens and Williams have clicked with him very quickly, I don't know. I think Steelers are the side.
How's the game played to the total?
Over.
First thought. I mean, how is it not?
Over.
Right?
Yeah. That's how I would look at it. I play the over. But I think there's going to be look, it's a black and blue division. This is the black and blue game. It wouldn't shock me if it's like 17-14.
Every time the Ravens have had the back a guy, like I'm talking 25 years of this game.
Right.
They win. Like if they control the ball on the ground,
right,
and Henry just is the battering ram.
My only retort to that would be normally the Ravens have a defense that's as good or at least on par with Pittsburgh, and they don't.
Correct.
So the difference is the Steelers' offense is going to be given way more opportunities than what they usually are getting.
No, I hope you're right. Boy, I hope you're right.
The secondary is not good. Yeah, it's 48.5. This is like, when's the last time we saw a total 48.5 for these two teams?
Crazy.
Because the secondary is awful. I mean, look what Jamar Chase did to this secondary. I mean, it's insane. He set records for, 2-game numbers up against this secondary. So that's my problem with going, okay, yes, run the ball, play defense, play typical Steeler Ravens football. The Ravens can't play like that. It's not how they play anymore.
If they run the ball, control the ball, and limit the number of possessions that the Steelers get and are able to maintain drives, they're going to wear the defense out and they're going to find a way to win the game. But it's going to be close. It's like almost a reverse correlation in this one, though. Ravens win, it's probably going under. Steelers win, it's going over. Steelers' path to victory is a big play or two, one from Pickens.
Right.
Or one from one of the other guys like Mike Williams play against. It's going to look a lot like the Washington game just did.
Oh, okay.
I think for the Steelers' benefit. Got to get that ball out of Russ's hands. He turns the ball over twice. I don't think they're going to win unless they get 4.
Roger, I did that teaser last week and it hit, but I didn't need it. But I did it and it hit. Steelers won outright. I gave them 8.5. Pulled it down to 42.5, went over.
I don't really say it often. But Steelers teaser. I mean, I don't want to give me a percentage like Alex got me thinking about percentages now.
Mm-hmm.
Steelers plus that amount of points be really, really surprised. I mean, even, you can't even say, well, if Russ gets hurt, if Fields comes in, it's okay.
Right.
Like they're not dependent upon that.
Yeah.
TJ Watt is healthy. Everybody's good. Like Steelers plus the points on the teaser leg is going to be, it should be in every teaser you do.
I like
That's a good bet.
Time for Better to Book It. All right, better to book it on the replay crew for you guys. Normally, you don't see this. This is oftentimes on bonus time. So, if you ever want to go watch bonus time, you see this. We'll go through picks, bets I've made. If Dave likes it, he bets it. He doesn't, he books it. I have the Nets tonight. Boston on a back-to-back. I'm taking the plus 9.5 on Brooklyn. Brooklyn's 9-2 ATS on the year. They're 4-1 at home ATS this season.
This is against the Celtics.
Yes.
It's the first time we've done this season.
It's 20 turnovers. The number's 8 now.
Huh. Is everybody playing?
Even if they are, I'm still going against Boston. The way that they're playing right now, going on the road on a back-to-back, 20 turnovers tells me a team that just isn't really interested right now. It's too many.
Wow. See, I think this is a perfect bounce back spot. I'll say book this.
Nets
I think they win by 10.
Nets almost beat them in Boston.
That's not going to happen again. Yeah. I'm surprised. You got me with this one. Yeah.
Be careful, LL. Just be careful.
On the road.
Be careful. 58.5. Boston can score 50 in the first half. Like
on the road, right?
Be careful on that. The trend is home for Boston, not road. Even though it has hit consistently on the road this year. Just be careful with that. I don't love the first half team till over 58.5. I just think it's too many points. Nets have been very, very good at covering numbers. They're not winning many games. They're just playing very competitive basketball. And Boston was the statements from Jaylen Brown after the game last night concerned me in a big way. I was like, whoo.
What did he say? I didn't see the post game. What did he say?
Me and Jaylen, he said, me and Jason can't play like this. We had 11 turnovers between the two of us. This is not something we need to be doing anytime soon. We got to figure out why it's happening. And like, I like taking ownership of it, but it's like, okay. Now you got to win by double digits on the road against Brooklyn, a team that had your number and played you tough. Give me the points. Over 222.5 for Suns and the Kings tonight.
Over, what is the number here?
222.5.
225.5. That's a 5.
225. Sorry, 225.5. Sorry, I'm reading this backwards. 225.5. Sorry.
Hold on a second.
225.
That's why I hit refresh. I'm like, what did he say?
225.
That was higher. Okay, yeah. First thought is to bet this. I think this is a bet.
These teams played an overtime game earlier this year, went over by 15 points due to overtime. But I think we're seeing offense. I think we're seeing up tempo. Suns are 4-1 to the over on the road this year.
I mean, it's so hard to pregame. Like, we're doing the show. It's 1:00 in the afternoon Pacific, and don't have a clue who's playing. It's all questionable. I mean, Nurkic, maybe. Beal, supposedly. I don't know. Like, KD's not playing, right? I don't know.
Over.
All right. Bet.
And then finally, under 138, Houston and Louisiana in college basketball tonight.
Houston and Louisiana. Hold on. Let me find the line.
Louisiana's not scoring tonight.
Grab the sheets.
They get to 40, I'll be stunned.
Houston and Louisiana. What's the spread?
Ooh, a lot.
Hold on. Let's find this game.
28.
Oh.
Right?
I'm looking right now. Houston, and Louisiana. All right. 30.5.
Yeah, it was 28 last night.
Dear Lordy. Yeah, I guess this is a bet. I mean, what's Houston have to score to get this game to go over? 90?
A lot. 90. Yeah. A lot.
Is Houston playing the same?
Yes.
Okay, so they're strong, very, very strong defensive team.
Yes.
I mean, they have to be. They're laying 30.5 and the total's on 138.
Yes.
Yeah. I guess this is a bet.
KenPom, number 2 team in the country. Auburn's won because Auburn just beat them.
Are you back to the KenPom everyday routine?
Of course.
Looking at it, are you?
Of course. Looking at it.
Started yet.
Didn't work out well last night for me, but,
Some good basketball games.
Until the last 5 minutes on both bets. I was looking pretty on both bets for 5 going in. It was great for 35 minutes. I was going 2-0, and the last 5 minutes of Kentucky and last 5 minutes of Kansas both went right into the ditch.
Something about college basketball I still love.
Oh, how can you not?
Love watching the games. I just love watching the games. I don't know.
Creighton's playing tonight. Coach McDermott. Well, I'll save it for my thinking about today. Okay. But Coach Mack tonight's going to become the all-time winningest coach in the history of Creighton basketball tonight.
Who are they playing?
Houston Baptist. Yeah, he's going to pass Coach Altman tonight.
Get us out of here. We'll finish this in bonus time.
If you guys are watching live, stick around. Don't move. If you're on replay, thank you for being here tomorrow. Primetime Thursday with Adam Bajoran from Prime Sportsbook joins us. Thank you to Alex Kane and our friends at Sport Trade. Bonus time starts now.
Houston Baptist?
Yes.
What's the line?
Huge.
Hold on. Let me
26, 27?
It's got to be 30. No. Hold on. 36.
Yeah. It's I thought about playing team I thought about playing team total for Creighton tonight, but it's team total is 96 points for the Jays tonight.
UConn is playing someone named Lemoyne.
Yeah, Lemoyne. Mm-hmm. Yep.
They're 38.
Yep. Yeah, these are just the NIL tournament is the week of Thanksgiving, Jimmy football, when they come here to Vegas. But yes, Coach McDermott.
Speaking of which, are we doing a show that week or no?
The week maybe
Thanksgiving.
I don't think Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but Monday, Tuesday, decent shot.
Okay.
Then we'll do it in the beginning part of the week.
All right.
And then
that's our production meeting. We were asked by Sports Grid.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and it depends on what Alex wants to do. If Alex wants to move to do, we can bump everybody up to go Monday, Tuesday, and do Prime and Sport Trade on Monday, Tuesday to get away from the holiday. We can do that.
Okay.
Do this, but definitely Monday for sure. Monday, Tuesday would be a question, but for sure. And then Wednesday, that's just a chaos day.
Okay. I love looking at these. I mean, Queens, North Carolina.
No, it's dumb.
Playing BYU, it's 31.5. I mean, I don't know whose idea it was to make the extra games and have the lines on them. And then like the rotation numbers in the books are 6 digits. So they come up to the counter and say, give me number 306659. And that's Wofford. Oh, they're playing Presbyterian. What? How do you even make a number on that? I mean, everybody's just guessing. 4.5. Milwaukee's playing Longwood. Mount St. Mary's is playing Bucknell. You don't have to have a line on everything. Lemoyne is located in Syracuse. Is that true?
I don't know. I guess so.
Okay.
Sure.
Well, thank you, CBW. I believe everything you say in here most of the time.
Favorite thing about today is what?
2 things. One, shout out Greg Popovich. He apparently had a stroke. Every time somebody has a stroke or whatever it is, I feel it like wow. I hope he's okay. And they said he's going to be okay, or this or that.
Out indefinitely though.
Yeah, I saw that this morning, and I went, all right. These things. You're right. You read stuff, you hear stuff. It's changing every day. There's so much going on in the world. But number 2 is my favorite thing about today happened last night. Went on a date with my wife. We had dinner.
Oh, nice.
Just the 2 of us.
Okay.
Shout out Born and Raised. It's over 21 and over only.
Yep.
So grandma had the little one. I met her there. We sat on the side where no one was. We had a half-shaped table. So we didn't it was like she joked. She's like, I'm sitting too close to you. And I'm like, hey, come on over. Water's warm. Come in. We had a nice meal and we watched the end of that Kentucky game.
Oh, nice.
And I knew you had Duke. And I was sitting there and she's like, what is they doing? Like,
good question. I was asking the same question.
She's a front runner, so she's like
what are they doing? Yes.
And then she started going, what is Flag got? He's the best player. I'm like, Jess, he's a young kid. I mean, he made mistakes. Like, it's fine.
A lot of them.
You're right. It was a complete melt.
Yep.
But I was an impressive win by Kentucky. But we had a nice dinner. and, enjoyed each other's company with the basketball games on. So shout out to my wife for giving me about an hour and 20 minutes
Nice
alone time. It was nice. It was a nice night out.
Today is National Signing Day. And so, you're getting old when your friends' kids are signing. So my friend in Alabama, Kevin Walker, whose son Simon Walker is a 4-star recruit out of Huntsville, Alabama, signed with Auburn this morning.
Oh,
so
he did?
Yeah. So once again, congratulations to Simon. Congratulations to Kevin Walker, to Christy, Simon's mom. Huge day in the Walker family to have him. He'll be a 4-star recruit going to play for Bruce Pearl tomorrow down on the Plains.
Was that a surprise? Was he talking about Auburn?
Yeah, he was. I had him pegged for Auburn months ago. The second that Bruce Pearl came calling, Bruce Pearl is an incredible recruiter.
Okay.
And when you play basketball in Huntsville, you have a chance to stay in state and play for Auburn, and what Bruce Pearl is now building. It's awesome. I mean, Simon's going to fit in perfectly as being a sharpshooter with all that talent they've got in the post and the athletic ability that their guards have. To him to sit in the corner and do the Peyton Pritchard stuff, just bury three. It's perfect. So huge day for them. Huge congratulations to the Walker family. And like I knew Simon when he was like teeny, and now I saw him this summer. I saw him here in Vegas.
That
I was like,
the picture you posted.
Yeah. I was like, your dad's 6'11". His dad played at UCLA. And Simon's 6'4", still growing, probably was 6'4", 6'5" before it's all said and done. His mom is 5'2". So it's really funny to watch them. 6'11", 5'2", 6'5", 6'4", 6'5". So, but he was here playing, and it was awesome to watch them and hang out with Kevin and kind of see, where Simon was and what he's going to hopefully do at Auburn. So congrats to anyone else who signed too, if your friends or family, big signing day today. And then secondly, I've been covering Creighton basketball since 2004. When I moved to Omaha, and I took over Afternoon Drive and for Big Sports 590. And I said, why is no one talking about Creighton basketball? And they're like, well, what do you mean? They play this small little, they're a small little school. I'm like, yeah, but wait a minute. Why aren't we building everything around Creighton basketball? And I really became incredibly close to the university, and I still am close to the university for years. And Coach McDermott tonight will pass Dana Altman for the all-time most wins as a head coach of Creighton basketball. And it's an incredible story given his son, Doug, and Doug's been in the league for 10 years. That's how old I'm getting now. I'm like, Doug's been an NBA player for 10 years, but he'll pass it tonight, beating Houston Baptist. So congratulations to Coach McDermott. He's been on this show a couple of times. We hope to get him back on the show sometime soon. Yep. We're going to see him when they come play in the tournament during Thanksgiving.
We're required, I think, to get him before they come out.
I'll try. I'm efforting to do it.
Yeah,
to see if we can get him to come on and talk. I mean, Carpenter went for 49 the other night. Yeah. Like what the hell? So there's a lot of really good things going on, but Dana Altman will always be known as the godfather of Creighton basketball, and he built that program and put it on the map. But to see what Coach McDermott has done with Creighton and taking it to the next level into the Big East, they signed a 4-star kid from Texas today. Like, it's just such an interesting thing to look at a university that in 20 years ago, when I first started covering the university, it was this little tiny school, Jesuit school that no one really talked much about besides like, oh, that's where Kyle Korver played, right? Oh yeah, that's right. To now they're consistently in the top 20, consistently, recruiting with the big boys. It's UConn, it's Creighton, it's Villanova, really, in the Big East. So good stuff today for Coach McDermott, and I'm sure it'll be a fun walk to the podium tonight because they're going to kill him. They're going to kill Houston. They're going to kill Houston Baptist tonight. And then things get much more difficult after that for the Creighton Blue Jays. Their schedule starts to turn. They start to play some real teams. But FS1 tonight, if you're going to watch the game, Creighton's on national TV, so you can watch it tonight if you want. Team total first half, Creighton, I almost bet it. It's 48.5.
Oh my goodness.
In college basketball, 48.5 team total first half.
Absurd. It's an absurd number.
I almost bet it.
That's an absurd number.
I was like, I want to hit buy, and I'm like, 48.5 points is a lot of points.
A ton
in the first half.
I think I might bet that under.
Maybe it's a lot. It's 48.5 is a lot of points. It's a high number for a first half team total in college basketball. You only play 20 minutes, so no 2 quarters, one half. So it's
just doing a number in my head. Like, that's really high.
Really high.
I don't think I've ever made that number that high.
Their team total is 96.5 for the game.
Yeah.
But they scored 99 and 97 the first 2 games.
Right.
So That's why
right.
they can really score. Guys, thank you for being here. Thank you to Alex Kane and for Sport Trade being a part of Wednesdays. It's always a lot of fun. Tomorrow, we talk to our friend Adam Bjorn from our guys at Prime Sportsbook on a Thursday. He is Dave. I am Matt. We are back tomorrow for a Thursday's BBB.